And we begin with our breaking news. CTV News has learned that Premier Doug Ford plans to call an early election next Wednesday. A senior provincial government source says Election Day would be February 27th. Ford has repeatedly insisted that he needs a stronger mandate from taxpayers in order to join the fight against looming U.S. tariffs. Stay tuned was his response again today when asked if an election would be called next week. For more reaction to this, I'm joined live now by Ontario Liberal Party leader Bonnie Crombie tonight. Good to have you. Thanks for taking the time.
Hi, Lindsay. Thanks for having me.
What is your reaction, first of all, to hearing about this news tonight, this confirmed news now?
Well, I have a lot of feelings about it. Let me first say that it is an unnecessary and a very expensive election. It'll cost us $175 million. And Doug Ford has failed on so many fronts, failed to provide us with the basics, and failed to prepare us for the threats south of the border, knowing that Donald Trump became president or could become president. He hasn't prepared our economy and he hasn't protected our jobs. In fact, this election shows us that the only job he's interested in protecting is his own. It is a very self-interested and self-vested move. He's chosen recklessness over responsibility. He's answering chaos by creating more chaos at a time where we need stability and certainty. Mm-hmm. You know, the Premier's done a great job being a showman and showing his showmanship. But right now we need leadership. You know, you just can't slap a label on a hat and pretend you have a plan to deal with a threat such as 25% tariffs on our products from south of the border.
And I want to go back to the tariff threat that we are facing right now. But first of all, I want to focus on you as well. I mean, now that we know this election is going to be called, are you ready? Because you're going to have a lot of work to do. You need to, get a seat as well. I mean, do you think you're ready for this?
You know, it's really interesting that of all the premiers who are dealing with this threat across our country, working together as United Team Canada, not one of them is suggesting an election call, only Doug Ford, because again, he's trying to protect his own job. Am I ready? Absolutely. Absolutely. We are ready. We have a campaign office, which I'm working from. We've ordered our bus. It's being wrapped to date. We've got ads planned. We have nominated almost 90 candidates. We have a couple more that will get nominated this week. So we should have a full complement. And we have all our money in the bank. So we are ready to go. But again, it's an unnecessary election. Let's remind everyone that Doug Ford has a majority government. He can pass any legislation he wants to and always has done so. So that election isn't scheduled for June 2026, and having it now is irresponsible, it's reckless, and it's creating chaos at a time when we need calm and a firm resolve to deal with the threat from south of the border.
Do you know what riding you're going to run in?
I do. It's a Mississauga riding. There's one of two remaining open that we haven't nominated candidates in, and it will be announced, and we're going to make a big splash very soon.
Okay. All right. So let's move on then now. We've been talking a lot about Donald Trump, those tariff threats, and of course, Doug Ford saying he needs this new mandate to be able to have some money ready just in case these tariffs come into effect for businesses in Ontario. Do you really think Donald Trump cares who is in power in Ontario about a strong mandate? I mean, part of this is to fight back against these tariff threats. Does it matter, do you think, when it comes to Donald Trump, who is where in Canada at all?
Let's be honest. Doug Ford has been playing Captain Canada, but the role he has in this is very minute. All the premiers have come together around the table federally to talk about options for their province, and we see there are a couple of outliers. But the reality is the federal government, led by Dominic LeBlanc in these negotiations, will play a key role. He's a bit player in this, and he says he needs a new mandate. I ask you, did he need a new mandate to spend billions of dollars during COVID? No. Did he need a new mandate to send out $3 billion worth of pre-election checks that are arriving this week? No, of course he didn't. Did he need a new mandate or a stronger mandate to spend $2 billion for a foreign spa at Ontario Place or to expedite the sale of beer and wine at the corner stores? Of course he didn't. He has a supermajority government right now, and they should be governing with their hands firmly on the wheel until June 2026. but he's failed to protect us and prepare us for the upcoming threat. He's failed as well to provide for the basics for people. We saw what happened in Walkerton a week ago. 1,000 people lined up, seniors in parkas with their walkers and in their wheelchairs, young mothers with strollers bundled up for 6 hours in the cold for a family doctor. He's failed to provide 2.5 million Ontarians with a family doctor. He promised us tax cuts. He hasn't delivered. I will. He's promised us to end hallway medicine. He hasn't. I will. He's promised to build homes, 1.5 million, and he's utterly failed, and we won't. We have a plan to build housing, and we'll make it less costly and more affordable for people.
Okay, that is Ontario Liberal Party leader Bonnie Crombie joining us live tonight. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.